Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's up, guys? Hope y'all are doing well. Welcome into another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and we are super excited to come to you today with another fresh episode for your Wednesday. This is going to be a solo show. I'm out here driving, just back in the thick of it, heading home, or I'm back home from Equip now, getting back in the swing of things, taking a week off for Equip. It's tough because you kind of go off the radar to all your things at home, I feel like, because it's just so busy at the show. Like, it is one of the most fun yet stressful and tiring weeks of the year. It's so draining. It's so draining. Standing there on the showroom floor 8 hours a day, 3 days in a row, it's just like, man, this is a lot. Continuously talking, continuously networking. It's good. It's a good tired, right? I mean, we love it. We enjoy it. I'm very blessed for the opportunity to be able to go and have a community of people to talk to and network with and meet. But it is so tiring. And so we're back home from that, back into the thick of it with work, and we are back in like hot and heavy, just getting the week rolling. I'm actually recording this on Tuesday, right before it drops on Wednesday, and like I said, I'm out riding around and just thinking through some things of like how we can grow our company, some areas that we have to improve in, and some things that I think across the board a lot of us need to improve in. And that really, it hits home with me when you sit here and think about where are areas that I can improve in, and you start to think, you just start thinking, you're like, man, I'm in a good spot. I've had a good year. And then you really start breaking things down, and you think about the things that you actually need to improve on, and you're like, it's very easy to get down on yourself. And so this is a show that it's not to get down on yourself. It's also not a rah-rah show. It's just, hey, these are things that I'm seeing that we have to fix, that if we don't fix going into 2025, our company won't grow the way that I want it to. A little backstory, we're 6 years into business, really 3 years into trying to actually run a legitimate business, 3 to 4 years, 10 months into trying to actually grow a large business. The last 6 months have been great in a way, and they've been trying in a way. We've had employee issues, we've had problems, we've had struggles and trials, all the things that go into it and go into the growth process. It's a good thing, right? Growth is good. Growth is hard. I signed up for it, so you're never going to hear me complain about it. But I am going to say just be aware. Be aware of what growth is, what it looks like, what it takes to do it. Because I'm realizing day by day, week by week, that you have to be able to take on risk. You have to be able to learn how to lead people. And you have to be able to handle people letting you down. Taking the risk portion, that is one of the things that I think you're going to have to get over the most, especially if you have families, wives, kids, etc. It is one of the hardest things that you can possibly do to go out on a limb and say, hey, I'm going to go $30 or $50 or $100,000 in debt to start my company. I'm going to leave my full-time career to start a business. That is so hard. I can't imagine going through that if I'm being honest. That wasn't me. I had done this straight out of high school. I figured it out as I've gone, and we've learned. Savannah was with me in the beginning, so she's seen that from the ground up. I never had a full-time career that I was walking away from. If that is you, and you want to grow a company, you have to be able to take on those risks. The risks are there. How are you going to handle them? Are you properly equipped? Being properly equipped to take on risk starts as simple as listening to shows like this, listening to other people in the industry, watching YouTube videos, getting around peers, mentors, people that are going to take you and help you grow into new heights in the industry and in your business. Because if you can't figure that out along the way of the areas that you need to improve in, then you're going to get left behind. People will surpass you. You will not grow your business the way that you want to and / need to. So in the beginning days of your business, what are some risks that are involved? It's the one, making the full-time jump, right? 2 is just like bringing on your first employees. I know that's where a lot of you listening are at, is bringing on my first 1 or 2 guys. I remember that time. It was early on for me. I established very early in my business, hey, I'm not doing this on my own. I worked 2 weeks solo and said, this is for the birds. Hired a guy right then, and I have paid way more out in labor than I could have over the past 6 years to have someone helping me and not have to kill myself working seven days a week, 12 hours a day. There's a benefit to that, right? It's great. I loved it. It was awesome having people with us, but it comes at a cost. It comes at the cost of not having that extra income. A lot of you guys out here rocking solo, you're working really hard, but you're putting money in the bank. You're making some serious cash. Now, are you a business or a service provider? There's an argument there to be made as well, right? If you're the one that's only out there, only you doing it, you fall and break your ankle, you're not mowing grass anymore. So there's something to be said about like you providing a service to someone and just being a one-man band versus having a business that still runs if you're not there. Bringing on your first employees it's not easy. It's not easy. I still deal with today, like I only have 4 guys, and we actually just dropped to 3. It's why I'm also talking about this subject. It's like we just lost a guy, and I think that I'm going to be dealing with this all the way up until we get like 10 or 12 employees. Until we get to that point where we have like multiples and we have like an extra floating around somewhere, we can just pull one from a crew or something and it not be like somewhat detrimental to the company losing a guy. Not detrimental, but like a big blow. Then it's going to be a topic of conversation. Now, when you get to 12, 15 guys, it's a lot easier for one to call out, right? Or for something to go wrong. And you just shift a guy over. So like there's something to be said about that. And I want you to like think about it in the early days as you do grow and you bring on your early employees. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be actually really hard. But you can do it as long as you make the right decisions in the long run. And it's going to be one that you have to open your mind up to and say, guess what? Me bringing this employee on board is going to save us money in the long run because maybe not save us money, it's going to save us time. Time is your most valuable asset that you have. There's nothing more valuable on this planet than your time. Your time with your family, your wife, your kids, whoever it is, your friends, your parents. Like I watched a reel the other day and there was a guy talking about how his dad used to park a long way away at the football games when they went to as a kid. And he was like, Dad, why did you park so long, like so far away? We had to walk a mile to every game. And he said, son, I could have parked closer. Could have paid for private parking, gotten in the lots, yada, 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 whatever. He said, I parked that far away so I could have the time with you that I know I was going to get undivided. I knew that there was, like, if I parked that long way away, we were going to hold hands, we were going to walk and talk and have that undivided time with each other that I might never get again. And his son looked at him and just, like, was astonished. And it made me stop and think, like, man, that's a good way to look at it. Because in today's world, it's easy to just hustle, bustle. We have too much to do. We have too many places to go. Everything's weighing on your shoulders. We got to go, fast, fast, fast. And somebody says something like that, and you're like, geez, I've got to take more time to sit back and actually, like, smell the roses and pay attention to my family. And when you are looking at bringing on employees, yes, it's a risk. Yes, it costs money. But guys, it's going to give you the most valuable time that you have back. And here's the thing. We're going into winter, I understand. A lot of you guys are going to start fall leaf cleanups. You're going to generate a ton of cash there, like feed the cow at the end of the year. And then you may not get snow in the winter. You may have a light winter. You may not do snow at all. You may stop for the winter. It's going to be slower cash flow. I understand that. But you got to start, if you're in those early, like 1-2 employees, you got to start looking for guys early in advance. You cannot wait until the very last second, March 1st, when spring rushes here, to go get employees. The good ones are already in a position for the season and hopefully their careers. You've got to start now. And it's a risk. Bringing someone on all winter long, are you kidding me? How am I going to do that? I can't afford to pay that. Guess what? I've had years being open here. You should be open with yourself. I've had years, employees have made more money than I have in the beginning, especially in the winter months. I may have made it up in the summer, but in the winter months, they may have gotten a check before I got a check. And that's an unpopular opinion, right? You're not going to hear the gurus talk about that. But I also know that what that was worth to me was having a good guy stay with me all year and get me through the next year. Now, I will tell you this, full open transparency, honesty here, right? You got to be prepped for everything. I also brought a guy on, kept him on all winter, paid him more than what he should have made in the winter, and he left me in spring rush. So not to like scare you or intimidate you, but you do have to be prepared for that because that could happen. So it comes all the way back to the vetting process. You should be interviewing your clients, your employees very thoroughly, very in depth. Like have a legit list of questions that you're asking, that you're talking to them about, things with their family. How can they help the company grow? What do they like in their hobbies? What do they do in their free time? Find out everything about them that you can and see if they're a good fit. And be very clear, very transparent. I'm going to bring you on. I'm going to pay you. I'm doing this with the intention of you being here for the long run. And so, are they going to sign a contract with you? Can you hold them legally, like hold them to your company? No, not really. But you can at least communicate and try to be as clear as possible. Most decent human beings, if you're going to give them the job, it means you probably think they're a good fit. They're going to stick with you. They're going to give it a shot. They're going to give you their best effort. And so, you should be in decent shape. But I just know that at this point in the year, cash is already starting to get tight. You're getting your final mows. You're like, man, what are we going to do? How am I going to make payroll? I feel that. Like you start adding, and I'm peanuts to what some of you guys out there are doing that are listening, and guys that aren't even listening that are out there bigger that don't have time for podcasts, right? Like, I know that I'm nothing to them. There's guys doing 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a week in payroll. I'm doing like 6. Okay. But you do 6 grand a week times 4, that math adds up, right? And then you do that times 12, that's a chunk of money. It's a chunk. And so it comes back on me like, hey, this is a huge risk for bringing all these employees. I've got to go sell work. I've got to go get estimates out the door. I've got to bring in new leads. So then you get into like making roles and things that I've never necessarily done before because I've been a service provider up until the last couple of years. I also saw another video where the guy was talking and he said, look, most businesses, the businesses that grow the fastest, and I'm going to put a caveat in this. It may not be the best business. It may not be the ones that turn out to be the best. But the businesses that grow the fastest are the ones that do not go into it. The business owners do not go into it with a mindset of, oh, I'm going to do the service. It is, hey, my sales, my marketing, my lead gen, my operations, my systems, my billing, those things I'm getting really, really good at, and I'm going to hire an experienced technician to go run my company for me, and I'm going to do the backside and generate work for them. And I kind of see that in a sense. Now, I do see the sense of like you have to know what you're doing in the early days to be able to train people and teach people. If you find a unicorn one-off, like they can get in there and do their stuff, and you know how to, like, you trust them, and you get your one unicorn guy, that's awesome. But I've also seen a lot of successful people say, you got to be there in the beginning to learn and know and do, and you train, and that's how you make multiples of yourselves, and they become better than you, and then so on and so forth. But I do think there is something to that mindset of, hey, I'm gonna get all the back end stuff working extremely well, and I'm gonna start hiring and paying top wages to people that are qualified, people that are going to take my company to new heights by knowing the service, growing the service, and providing great service to my clients. And so as you grow, don't necessarily, and Mark Bradley said this in his talk at Equip on Caleb Allman's podcast in the morning show, Kid Contractor Podcast, if you want to check that out. He was like, look, when you hire your second person, you don't need to be hiring someone just to weed eat. Your second person needs to be a person to take over your rig and to run your truck, and they go start their own crew, and then you can stick a guy with them and they can train that crew, and then you hire another person and you train that person, and then they go start their own crew. So when it's tough, and the reason I think this is a timely podcast is we're not in the thick of it anymore for most people. We're not in like July double cuts. We're not there. You have the time to actually train the person the right way and get them to where you want them to be, and to hire the right person, right? You don't just need to hire a body, hire the right person. But you have the time and the means to train them if you actually dedicate yourself to it. And that's where I've fallen short, is on the training aspect. I've spoken about this. I've talked about it. It's me being open and honest. Like that is an area that I've failed in. I fully intend on using Greenius with LMN to help our team grow next year. There's some cool features with that we're going to be talking about in the next couple months, hopefully, and implementing in our company, sharing with you to help your company grow with Greenius, because I think there's a really cool opportunity there in the training side that no one really has touched or done anything with, that I've seen on social at least. Obviously, big companies are doing it. That wouldn't be a thing. But a lot of us guys that are young starting out, it's just not a priority. Training has not been a priority in the past, because you show these big guys do it, but like, why should I train with me and 3 other guys? We just know how to do it. But that's why you stay, you and 3 guys. You don't turn into the big company. And so all I'm saying is, as you grow, risks are going to come upon you. You're going to have to make decisions. You're going to have to tell yourself and your spouse that you can do it. You can get through it. You keep your head down and you go to work. You put people around you, and you will see change in the long run. You just have to devote yourself to it. And you can't just like half-a do it. If you're going to do it, commit. And like, we are committed to growth the next 3 to 5 years. I had a big goal for revenue this year. We wanted to hit $680,000 in revenue. We did $280 last year. That would have been a 3x growth almost. Not really. 2.5, 2.25, whatever the math is on that. We would have grown our business significantly. I think if we would have done that in revenue, we would have had to add at least 2 more guys full time. And I don't have the systems in place to do that yet. I think we would have been running around. Things would have been very messy. We wouldn't have gotten it done the right way. Instead, we're going to do between 450 and 5. Closed a great job today to push us over 400 on the year. So we should be landing somewhere between 450 and 5 by the end of the year if we do things the right way. Hopefully we get a good last push with Christmas lights, close another 1 or 2 landscape jobs, and maybe get us over 5. I would love that. But we're going to do almost $500,000 in revenue after doing 280 last year. And again, revenue is like, it's vanity. Top line vanity, bottom line sanity, right? But you have to also, like, if you want to make money, you want to add people, you have to grow the top line eventually to grow the bottom line. As you grow a company, as you add people, as you add overhead, as you add equipment, you just can't like make profit come out of nowhere. You can only get so lean, so mean, so systematized as one can. You can't do it forever. Like, you literally can't figure it all out. So you eventually have to start growing the top line. So we're trying to go the top line. We're making investments. We're making moves. We made investments this year that'll pay off for the next 3 to 5 years. Hopefully save some cash over that time. But like, the risk has been taken. We're in. Like, we are in this thing eyeball deep. And we're saying, let's grow, let's go, let's change our business, change our future. And so as you go through the next couple months, the risks are going to come. What are you going to do to step up to the plate to take them? Are you going to sit back and say, I'm too scared, I can't do it? Or are you going to say, hey, bring on the risk. Let's take the risk. Let's run with it. Let's change our future, and let's hit risk head on and say, come on, what you got? We're going to knock it out of the park. The leading the people portion is another category you can hop into. So we talk about hitting the risk head on, taking it head on. When you talk about leading people, what does that look like to you? I'm figuring this out on a day-to-day basis. what is leadership? How do I do it? How do I lead myself? How do I make myself a better person? And in turn, how does that like pass down the line to my employees? We recently lost a guy, right? I just said that. And I was talking about how when you're in that like 1 to 10 employee range, having somebody drop out of the company is pretty huge deal. Like it goes from us having four full-time guys, which is two-man crews. Awesome. We can rock work all day along with that, to now we have three, a 2-man and a 1-man, and that solo just like gets hosed. Can't keep up with what he needs to do. Put him on the third, and then we go down to 1 crew. It's just like, what do we do? I'm back in the field. I don't have time to sell. Like this is the proof of me not being in the field as much, right? Is I sold a $20,000 landscape install today because I had time to be in the office. I had time to sit down. I had time to make the estimate. Go to the job walk last week in the middle of the week with him in the middle of the day when it was right for the client's schedule, not at 8 p.m. my time. Like if I don't have these things happening, there's a potential of 20 G's that I miss out on. And so like, this is why we have employees. This is why I take this time in this investment, is because I have to be doing the selling. That's what I was talking about. I've got to do the selling, the admin, not necessarily the admin. I got to do the selling, the estimating, the lead gen, those things to like keep the ball rolling, keep the company rolling. And so upsells with current customers. Anyway, all of that ties back into how do I find new people to fill these roles? And it comes down to a really, really good interview process, I think, asking really good questions, being very thorough. But on a day-to-day basis, how am I leading? How am I being better? Am I showing up on time every day? Am I showing up with a good attitude, ready to go? Am I showing up with a growth mindset? Am I accurately telling the guys what I'm expecting of them? Am I rewarding the guys both monetarily, emotionally, with good equipment? Am I giving them incentives to keep coming? What is a good leader? Do I make these guys feel like they are wanted, like they're in a company that needs them and wants them to succeed? Am I doing a good job of that? And I have to ask myself that question every single day, day in and day out. And if you aren't doing that to yourself, if you're not asking, what am I doing to be a better leader? If you're not asking your guys what you can be doing, what can you be doing to make this place better? What can you be doing to make a better environment? What are some areas that I can grow in? I'm telling you, I'm asking you, tell me. That's what I'm telling the guys. And be open to their criticism and their feedback, right? Don't shut down when somebody gives you actually honest feedback, because they're never going to do it again. How am I correcting people? Am I encouraging them with words, or am I tearing them down? If they do something wrong and I think it should be done a different way, maybe it's not wrong, but I do it a better way, or a way that I like more for the way that we do things. Am I encouraging, or am I tearing him down? These are things to look at when you are like developing yourself as a leader. How do you grow? How do you do these things? I'll tell you what, I've talked about this on the show, but maybe you missed it. If you've never read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's a must read. Should be must read. It should be a non-negotiable, mandatory high school reading. You don't graduate high school without it. We have issues in our company right now that we're dealing with because people have not read that book. Past issues have set them up the way that they are now, and they've never read that book. They don't know. They don't see the world that way. You never realize how much people like talking about themselves until you read that book, and you're like, holy crap, I look at the world a whole different way now. Can I sit here and quote that book to you? Absolutely not. My brain doesn't work like that. But I take things from books and things that I see and read, and they just are ingrained in my memory. Now, not the exact words, not the verbiage, but it's the principle. The principle of that book is, hey, people love talking about themselves. They love hearing themselves talk. You stop. You be the bigger person by stopping, by listening, by appealing to them, asking them about what they like to do, where do they like to go, where do they like to shop, what do they like to eat. Listen to their life story, listen to their problems, and you automatically ingrain trust in that person to you. Now, me on the side of like trying to grow as a human is trying to actively shut up. I don't want to talk all the time. When I was 16 to 20, all I did was talk. I said a word every conversation, every sentence. I still have a problem with it sometimes, but I'm actively trying to get better every single day Shut my mouth and listen. Don't always have a comment. Don't always have something to say back. Just listen. Listening turns into leadership. And that is what I'm telling you guys. As you grow, as you add guys, as you add women, whatever, as you add people, humans, to your staff, lead them by example. Lead by example. Show up with a good attitude, with a growth mindset. Hey, how can we help you grow? Dealing with people letting you down is the final thing I wanted to hit on. People letting you down is going to happen. Maybe not necessarily like, here's the thing. There's all kinds of ways to be let down in the company. There's a letdown of like, man, I wish we could have got that done sooner. I had this many hours budgeted. You let me down. We didn't hit hours. That's totally different than, hey, I really expected you to be a better human. I didn't expect you to go off on this customer like this, but you let me down in this instance. So there's two totally different variables there, like different instances, ways to combat that, ways to respond. But you just have to be willing to deal with that and not blow up on someone. You channeling your inner emotions, like as you add people to your staff, is what's going to help you keep people. I've told the story on the show before. Our foreman right now in our company, he's been here since about April of this year. He said early on, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. He doesn't think anything of it. Like the second day or third day he worked, he was like, I was waiting to commit to you until I saw how you handled a bad situation. And something happened. I don't know if he broke something or a customer was pissed or something. I don't know. Something happened. Something went wrong. And after that happened, I handled it like a mature adult and it didn't kill my day, didn't ruin my mood. I didn't blow up on him. I didn't cuss him out. None of that. I didn't cuss the customer out. And he said, after I saw you handle that situation, it made me want to commit. He said, I knew I was in a spot where someone was going to treat me like I wanted to be treated, and I want to grow in that environment. That simple. You never know who's watching. You never know how your actions are going to come back to bite you in a good way, in a bad way, or help you in a good way. You never know. Your day-to-day actions are going to be what changes the future of your life and your company in little decisions. Little decisions lead to big outcomes. And you got to sit back and you have to say, what am I doing in this exact moment? Is this going to help me or hurt me tomorrow? Is it going to help me or hurt me with my family relationships, my business relationships, my employee relationships? What am I doing in this instance? And is it a good thing or a bad thing? I hope these three things have helped you. It's nothing transformative, nothing life-changing. But I really want you to just sit back and ponder and think on some of these things. Yes, there's risk involved. Yes, you have people that you're going to bring on that you owe them their money. You owe their family. You're providing for their family at this point. But guess what? It's so rewarding when you get to. When you reward for people's families and you reward your own family with your own monetary income, like it's great. It's awesome. It's very fulfilling. And so head into the next year, head into the end of this year with a growth mindset of, hey, I'm going to lead people. When people let me down, it's going to be okay. I'm going to handle it. We're going to fight back. We're going to push on. We're going to charge forward, and we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep going, and we're going to change our company and our future. So I hope this hits home to you. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but I do want to tell you this before I wrap the show up. We have an awesome partnership with LMN. LMN is Landscape Management Network. If you're not running a CRM in your company, I highly suggest you to get on this. If you're in a growth mindset, you're very early on in the company, maybe not in your early on, maybe in your year 2 to 3. You're trying to figure it out. You're doing 100 to 200,000 in revenue, 100 to 300,000 in revenue. You're trying to add people. You're trying to add crews. You're trying to grow. You have to get some type of budgeting, estimating software, job costing software in place to tell you, hey, this is how much money you made. This is how much money you lost. This is how much money you're losing on the job day to day. You have to charge this. All of this stuff is broken down inside LMN. The link in the show notes today is the best way to reach out and to get signed up with a demo for them. You can use code Jeremiah in a demo as well if you don't go through the link, but the link is the best way. It's right here below. It's easy to access if you're in the show notes. Super easy. It'll take you straight there. Sign up for a demo. Try it for 30 days. You're going to love it. If you're going to get an element on board in the fall and the winter, be prepped and ready to go in the spring. I did in the spring of this year. Is it doable? Yes. Does it suck? Absolutely. It's not going to suck near as bad doing it in the fall and the winter. I know it's going to pull some cash. I know you're like, man, I wasn't expecting those funds to be here. Well, guess what? You get a budget working. You budget these expenses in. Now you know for next year going forward what you need to spend, what you're going to spend, what expenses you have, what you can't spend, all the things. So LMN, Code Jeremiah, or the link in the show notes today is going to help you. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope it resonated with you. It means the world we get to do this 3 times a week. It really does. The community really showed out at Equip this year. Just you guys coming up, listening, talking. Congratulations on the baby. All the kind words. I appreciate them so much. It means so much that we get to do this with you, to see your companies grow, to see our companies grow, and just all succeed in the end. So I hope this one, again, resonates with you. But check out LMN. Without any further ado, guys, I appreciate it. Leave us a big 5-star rating and review. Let's wrap this one up and look forward to catching everybody here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.